Hello, welcome to another of our weekly edition Touchdown NFL Talk Show. This week we're coming to you from Schwadorf in Austria, and we're going to discuss some of the exciting games from Week 5 that we saw on the local broadcast, as well as a preview of the Week 6 games that are upcoming. My name is Joel Turpin, and I'm your host, together with my co-host David Asselin. Unfortunately, we're missing Martin Marhold today, but he'll be back again with us soon. Okay, talking first a little bit about the Week 5 games that we saw. Let's touch briefly on Baltimore and Miami. Baltimore pulling out a squeaker at Miami.
Yeah, the Dolphins lost a tough game this week at home against Baltimore. A resurgent Baltimore offense and defense. It kept Miami down to a limited 23 points in the game. They won a last-minute field goal on a 10-minute mistake, I believe it was.
Yes, it looked like Miami was gonna hold this game early on. They had all the momentum. Then they just kind of seemed to lose it at an inopportune time. And yes, a Tannehill mistake at the end was the thing to seal the deal for the Dolphins, unfortunately. I'm wondering if this now casts some shadow as to whether or not they're the team to really challenge in the East or not.
We'll have to last week's game with the Patriots as well, but we can talk about that later.
Okay. After that, of course, we had the game that we probably want to talk the most about, easily the most exciting game of the week. Denver 51, Dallas 48, a game that
I've got down here, it was
Yeah.
the second highest scoring game in the regular season since the merger of the NFL and the AFL 1970. Second highest.
Yeah, and I think maybe the fourth highest since they started keeping score.
Since they started throwing balls instead of rocks.
It was definitely more like a lopsided, some sort of college game than it was an NFL score. You just don't see that many points in an NFL game.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But you had two high-powered offenses. I found this to be a very interesting game because after watching this game this week, I have my doubts. I had a little bit of doubt cast over the Denver Broncos this week because you can't allow a Tony Romo and a high-powered offense to tack on over 500 yards passing in a game and expect to go to the Super Bowl. They remind me a lot of the 2007 Patriots, who went 16-0, if you may recall, and then lost to a 9-7 wild card Giants in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there are definitely some worries on that coaching staff today about the defensive performance especially, but of course that tends to be overshadowed when you've got Peyton Manning hitting virtually every receiver that he looks in the direction of, and
Brady hints he's going to throw to.
Yeah,
but Brady was doing the same thing in 2000. Brady had this awesome receiving core and his tight ends and and they went 16-0 and they were blowing out teams, but the other teams were also some of the games they were playing were also having high score. And then they got in, they played a team like a good Giants defense and a mediocre offense and ended up losing the game. A superb defense. I don't know if Denver's really played a team that has a very strong defense.
It sure doesn't seem like it, but of course they tend to dismantle the team so thoroughly that it's hard to say. Baltimore, their defense seems to be coming around, but in Week 1 they were in a bit of disarray. So, it will be interesting to see how that plays out over the course of the rest of the season.
Maybe Wes Welker brought the Belichick playbook with him when he came over in the trade.
That might be the case. That might be.
And once again, let me one more note. Tony Romo. No matter what he does, he will never make that go to that next level because he doesn't prove he doesn't do anything else. He always seems to lose it in the last second of every game.
Yeah, the sack. I think the sack that he had right before the interception really threw him off, and then he felt like he had to make a play so that he doesn't give the ball back to Peyton Manning with 2 minutes left on the clock. It was very understandable that he rushed it, but it does seem a bit snake bit in that regard.
Exactly.
The late game, not the very late game, of course, but the late game on the schedule that we're going to discuss here was San Francisco 34, Houston 3. And this is maybe the game that seals the fate for the Houston Texans this season. I begin to think they've
got quarterback issues right now.
Yeah, they've got quarterback issues. They've got just general confidence issues. They've got problems. they've got such a complete team in a lot of ways, but just a few cracks can be enough.
Well, a team
to
that's
undo
known
a
for their
team.
defense, they just don't seem to be showing up the last couple of weeks to a lot of those points. And if the offense can't get it into the red zone, into the
Yeah,
for a touchdown,
I
they're
think
gonna
the
win games.
defense. I think the defense is flowing from the offensive problems. I mean, you've got
Mhm.
turnovers, you've got short fields, you're
You
keeping
got-
the defense on the field constantly because of the turnovers. Because if you watch the game, they were getting penetration, they were getting through the line, they were getting a lot of fairly solid plays. Yes, San Francisco was running the ball, but they're a very good running team, and
Exactly.
and if they come in with the right game plan, they can run on pretty much anybody. But yeah, when the offense keeps putting you back out on the field time and again, and you've got a short field to defend, eventually you run into problems. I think.
And
So,
eventually you will lose, which they said it was a
which
tough
is
loss.
exactly what happened. Yes. And then we've got the Monday night matchup, which everyone assumed was a slam dunk, and didn't really turn out to be that way. The New York Jets 30, Atlanta 28. And what happened here? What happened to Atlanta?
I don't know. Maybe they're still licking their wounds from their loss with the Patriots at home, or these Matt Ryan's playing pretty good. The offense is playing pretty good football. The defense is just allowing too many points. But to Atlanta to lose at home 2 weeks like this is just unheard of in Falcon history. I mean, the Falcons in recent
history, yes.
in recent years have been a very, very good offensive team. And she's always win at home, but yeah, my questions are still out about the Falcons. I thought they would be contenders.
Yeah, I did too. Obviously, they were my Super Bowl pick from the NFC, which is looking a little further away every day, and I think Houston was my AFC pick, so we won't even talk about that. Less said, the better.
Yes.
I guess once again for me it comes back to something that I don't think Rex Ryan gets enough credit as a good coach. He's kept this team playing well through adversity. He had one down season last year, but other than that, I think he's consistently had a team that's played a little bit above maybe its talent level. And despite the fact that he was continually predicting Super Bowl appearances and wins, I don't know that he ever really had the talent to back that up. So
Yeah, but it helps to say this.
sure, it makes for good
Sells
TV and
newspapers,
sells
yes.
newspapers, and in New York, that's a big part of the job more than anywhere else. So, yeah, I think he's a solid coach, and as long as he's there and he's got the whole team pulling in the right direction, they're going to continue to surprise some people. I don't know that they're going to be able to pull a playoff berth out of this season, but the fact that they're even in the discussion 5-6
All the
weeks into the
divisions right now,
season,
it's 5
it's
weeks.
impressive. Yeah,
All divisions right now up for grabs except maybe not the AFC West.
the
is
AFC
also-
West is pretty well up for grabs at the
This
moment.
is like Rex Ryan said to Belichick. Anything you can do in Atlanta, we can do better because they're rivals.
Yeah,
It just-
I think the only team that can start to think cruise control anytime soon might be New Orleans with their.
maybe so.
their
So
record
after
of
this
Atlanta
game, I
falling
might
off.
say that New Orleans, and if you would poll people, might even be a notch over the Denver Broncos, despite what Manning's doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we'll discuss the games upcoming on week 6.